Hey everyone, welcome to Anna's Nail Advice, a video series where you guys send me pictures of your troubled nails and I try to figure out what's going on with your nails and help you. So now I have a paid service, but I try to do as much as I can for free for you guys as well. So those videos I put on YouTube, and this is how I get compensated by playing the ads on the videos. The reason why I'm saying this is because unfortunately, some of the pictures that this person has sent me are a little bit, they could be a little bit problematic for YouTube. One of the recent videos that I did got demonetized, so basically they don't play any ads and they're not showing the video. So I'm not gonna be able to show you all the pictures, but I'll show you the ones that I can, and I'm going to put all the pictures on Patreon, so check out the link. Anyway, so this viewer has issues with swollen skin around her nails. So it's the opposite problem of majority of problems that I'm showing, which is the stretched skin around the nails, which people are calling like overgrown cuticles. So she has the opposite problem. So let's see what her nails are looking like. All right, so this picture is, I think it's safe for YouTube. So as you can see, on this hand is not too bad actually. So as you can see, the skin is very raised and it's swollen. And she's showing me this, and she highlighted the area that gives her the most trouble. And let's see what she says. Greetings from Canada. So hello Canada. I've been watching your videos for some time now, and I worked up the courage to ask you about my nails, particularly my proximal nail folds on all fingers. So this is really good that she calls the skin around her nails properly. So the technical name is proximal nail fold, which a lot of people call cuticles. So, which is not cuticle. I've always had a bad habit of picking the skin, and many years have passed since this habit started. So this is something not new. Okay, so the skin around my nails is always sore and tends to crack, peel, flake, leading to me picking at the skin. Okay, so this is very good. It is good to know if you want to, the proximal nail fold, the technical term, but you don't have to. It's just the skin around the nails. So it's good that she says the skin around her nails is always sore and tends to crack. I wanted to ask you, with proper nail care as demonstrated in your videos, so warm oil soaks, oiling after washing, lotion, etc., will the proximal nail fold, so will the skin eventually heal and flatten? I see in a lot of your videos that people have problems with the skin sticking to the nail and being pulled out as the nail grows. But this isn't the issue for me, sadly, because my proximal nail fold appears lifted from the nail. I have circled one of the photos, middle finger, right hand, some hanging skin that I'm not sure how to properly, safely remove, and maybe I shouldn't touch this. An advice would be amazing and greatly appreciated. So my first question was, obviously, because she didn't say, she said she was picking it. So my question was, are you cutting the skin around the nails? So she's like, yes, I do. And I know it's bad. I've been trying to oil and use hand file to smooth down the rough skin every time I want to pick or cut. Because the skin is lifted, I get these little pieces of skin under. Think of like lettuce sticking out of the sandwich. And these, I think, are what led me to pick and cut excessively over the years. Okay, so let's see what's happening here, and I'll just explain. So first of all, let's look at this very useful graph and see what's going on. So this is what people think is cuticle, and this is what she's cutting. So, and filing. So this is keratinized proximal nail fold tissue. So this is part of just the living skin around the nails. So think of the skin as like a bumper, which tries to protect the matrix area. So this skin sometimes tends to be a little bit thicker, and sometimes it sticks to the nail and the nail pulls the skin with it. And that's when you have what people call like overgrown cuticle, but this is not a cuticle. Cuticle is very invisible, and you can't even really see cuticle on her pictures. I'll take a very close look in a minute. But what's happening here, so she is cutting this skin. So now when you really think about it, when you cut the skin or when you injure the skin, what happens to the skin? Usually, even if you don't make it bleed, so for example, you scraped your skin, okay? So you scraped your elbow and it didn't even bleed, but what happens after? So when your body notices that there is an injury, it starts a repairing process. So it starts inflammatory process, and that happens like within 10 seconds. The body activates immune system. It sends inflammatory cells and it sells cytokines, which stimulate more inflammatory cells. And the inflammation happens in your body because your body tries to trap the bacteria or other pathogens like viruses or some like irritating ingredients or irritating things, and it tries to start healing the injured tissue. And the result of that is pain, swelling, sometimes bruising if there is a hit, or redness. So this is all normal. So then your body tries to create like a scab to protect that area because it's been injured. And when the area is protected, your body can build a healthy skin underneath. So it's very normal for that skin to, you know, how scab looks. It looks harder, it looks drier. So now when this happens, and sometimes it could be microscopic trauma to the skin around the nails. When that happens, your body is just trying to protect, it senses something is going on and it's trying to protect the skin underneath, and it seals off that area and creates a thicker skin and creates a scab around that area. So now what happens is people think that they have dry skin and they cut it. So that whole process starts over and over again. So when you do that for too long, you can start getting a scar tissue because you're constantly injuring the skin, thinking it's a dry skin. So normally when you have a scab, what would you do, right? You're not gonna take a file, right? And you're not gonna start to file or pick at it, right? So when you have a scab, the best thing to do actually is to keep it protected. So put some Vaseline on it and let the skin heal itself. And the scab is going to come off by itself when the skin had a chance to repair itself from underneath, and then the scab falls off naturally. So you don't have to help the scab to heal. And you don't have to even do anything very special. Actually, one of the best things is Vaseline. So, because you're not going to get allergic reaction to Vaseline. Vaseline is excellent for any type of issues like that. So this is why I like to see pictures when people have issues, because that allows me to adjust my advice. Because normally if someone says, okay, I have problem with the skin around my nails, I would say, okay, gently nudge it back, use carousel and oil and all that, right? But in this case, I'm not going to say that. Let's look at the other pictures. Okay, you see all this dryness, all this inflammation. And yes, I mean, scabs can drive us crazy, right? Okay, and this is happening on the thumb as well. And I'm kind of curious if she's buffing her poor nails as well, because, you know, that's not a very good thing either, to buff the nails. And here is very interesting because you can see that this is very lifted. And when I'm looking at my nail, this is pretty flat. My nail actually doesn't have that inflammation, right? When you care for the skin, you shouldn't have inflammation. Inflammation is a symptom. It's not, your body is trying to tell you something. When you have pain, inflammation, your body is trying to tell you something. So the solution to dry skin is your body trying to tell you something, that the skin barrier is injured. So there is something going on with the surface of the skin. Your body is trying to tell you something. So by cutting the dry skin, you're making it look a little bit better, but you haven't solved absolutely anything. You're making it worse. So it's the same thing with pain. Take a painkiller, or, you know, I always compare it to, you know, something bothers me, so my leg hurts, cut it off. No, your leg hurts, you're gonna be like, okay, why is it hurting? Cutting off an issue is not it's not a solution. So it might hurt you because you might have a stone in your shoe, but like, cut it off. So when you have issue around the nails, don't just cut it off. Take care of the skin, protect the skin. So when the skin is protected and when it's taken care of, it's going to become softer because it knows that it doesn't need to have to protect itself. So now going back to this nail. So what happens is when there is inflammation happening, this is where the matrix is underneath, and this is where the nail is being made underneath here. So when there is this whole bunch of inflammation happening, sometimes then the body is too busy fighting the inflammation and it's not making the nail properly underneath. So the nail is not being made here underneath, it's made here in the matrix area. So it's just not making the nail properly. And then it has like sometimes like these dips in the nail. And this is why, because there is a whole bunch of inflammation happening. Usually this is why it happens, and especially on the thumbs, because people tend to pick their thumbs. It's just much more convenient to pick the thumbs compared to other nails. Okay, so this picture I won't be able to show you, so take a look at on Patreon, but there is definitely visible cut, and there is, like, when you really look at it, I mean, it's not gross, it's not, you know, shocking or anything, but YouTube is funny that way. So I just, whatever. But you can see that this is a scab. So protect the scab. Same thing here. Absolutely. And the nails look a little bit too shiny. Don't buff your nails. And same thing with this picture. This is very good example of what's happening here. Scabs are happening. Okay, so what is my advice? So my advice would be not to use carousel. And the reason why you don't want to use carousel right away is that carousel is supposed to be used on intact skin. So it's not supposed to be used on any cuts or anything like that, or any injured skin. And this skin is definitely injured. So what I would do is, there is no visible sign of infection or anything like that, but there was definitely some inflammation happening. What I would do put Vaseline on the nails, on the skin around the nails, as often as you can, just to protect the skin. So almost like a little bandage around the injured area. And the Vaseline is going to also help to soften the skin a little bit. So when this heals, when all this skin becomes kind of almost like this one. Okay, I'm going to look at the other picture because I can't show you now the other pictures. Hold on. So yes, so when the skin looks a little bit better than this without these cuts, so I would say after probably a week or two, it could be 2 weeks, depends on how you take care of your skin. When the skin heals and it's not painful and it shouldn't be as swollen, the skin is going to start looking softer. It might be still almost calloused. It should be softer. There shouldn't be as many cracks, but there still could be a bit of callus forming, right? Because your skin still doesn't trust you, right? It still thinks that you're gonna eventually injure it, so it's going to build a little bit more skin. So when that happens, and at that point, I would not even be using jojoba, I wouldn't be using anything. I would be using just pure Vaseline for 2 weeks until this heals. You can use any other lotion on your hands, whatever. It's just something gentle, I wouldn't be using any fragrance, because fragrances, even natural fragrances, can be very, very irritating to the skin. Do not use any tea tree oil, do not use any alcohol, any magical ingredients like that. Just very, very simple lotion on your hands, and then just the Vaseline around the nails. Once the skin heals, once it looks better and not as red, not as swollen, then you can start using carousel. But just be careful. I know the product is made for feet, so I'm going to send you the proper link for the product, but it's very, very useful when it comes to calloused skin and dry skin, because it has not only urea, but it has 10% urea. So it's a very, very good amount of urea. It's not too little and it's not too much. But it also has salicylic acid. It has 5% of salicylic acid, which salicylic acid actually is anti-inflammatory, but it is also an exfoliant. And this is why I would not be using salicylic acid if your skin is injured like this. Personally, I wouldn't. And of course, if you're allergic to aspirin or anything like that, obviously salicylic acid. So this is what I would do. So after the 2 weeks, after the skin heals, start doing the advice that I normally give. So using the carousel. If the skin starts getting inflamed or something, then stop using it and go back to the Vaseline and just gradually start taking care of your skin. When the skin starts healing, you can start nudging it back. When it starts feeling a little bit more elastic, start nudging it back very, very gently. You might not need to do it at all. I wouldn't recommend doing any cuticle removal, anything, because the cuticle removers very often, normally they have ingredients that will break down the skin. You don't want to be using anything that breaks down the skin around skin that has been recently broken. And it takes a very long time for skin barrier to repair itself, like up to even months. So be very patient. Don't think that something is not working just because you don't see results within a day or 2 or 3. These processes are very, very gradual, and you don't see a difference day to day. You start seeing difference week after week. So it's a very good thing that we have these pictures. And then if you want to, so the viewer that this video is all about, send me pictures maybe 2 weeks from now, and let's see and let's compare how the skin around the nail is looking. But I guarantee you it's going to be looking much better. Now, I know it's very difficult to stop picking. You know what I do? I used to bite my nails. I used to pick my nails. This is what I do. God honest truth. Like, I play with this stupid little stick if I'm nervous, or obviously making videos is stressful, but when I'm doing something stressful or something uncomfortable, I tend to just keep my hands busy, because I'm also prone to that. And this is how sometimes we are. This is how we try to make ourselves feel better. So I do understand that this is a process, but don't look at the negative, look at the positive, and look forward to the progress that you will be making. And start looking at this as something that you can make better, instead of concentrating on the negative. So don't concentrate on how bad the skin looks. Anticipate the good progress that you're going to get. And I know it sounds a little, funny, whatever, but it really, really does work. Just take care of your skin, and cutting it doesn't really make it better. Protect it as much as you can. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you soon. Bye.